Hey everyone, welcome to Thursday night. I'm ready for the weekend. I don't know why this has been a long week, but welcome to Getting Back to Zero. My name is Jeff, and I am talking to you from the cold room down under the house here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Glad everyone's here. Good to see everyone. We do have a fun guest tonight. I do not know her story, but I'm very excited to hear it. I'm glad she's joined us because, from what I heard, she had a rough evening at the Green Day Weezer concert, and a 5-hour concert. So she might, I don't know, hopefully she's not fibbing to us about her sobriety, but no, I think we'll talk to her about that. I just got done with I guess I'm on starting the third week of yoga, and I think I'm now a titled yogi, I believe, because I've done it like 9 times. And the last 2 without falling over and smashing my head into the wall too. So it's just good. So that's improving. I was having a very relaxing session until my grandson came running down the steps, screaming that he was, I think he either did poopy his pants or was about to. And luckily my wife was in high pursuit, trying to not interrupt granddaddy in the lotus position. But anyways, we survived it. So it's all good. So anyways, I'm going to bring our guest in. I'm thrilled that we have Shannon. Shannon, how you doing? Welcome to Back to Zero.
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me.
You are where? Where are
I'm
you
in Minnesota. So as I start talking, I say, don't you know, a lot. I was on a podcast a couple months ago, and I think I counted 50 times of, so I'm a little nervous here.
Do you say about or a boat?
About.
Okay, because Ketsia, who is one of our she joins us now and then. She's more Canadian, but it's got that little bit of a Minnesota twang, and she can't say about. She says about. I always harass her with that. Well, so wait a minute, you did go to the Green Day Weezer concert.
I did, and we got home after midnight, and I turned 50 in February, and I'm way too old for getting home at midnight. Let me just say. I was not on my game the next day, and not due to drinking.
Yeah. Were concerts a big part of you growing up?
Yeah. My husband he likes them, and it was something I did in high school and stuff. So it was fun.
What was your favorite concert? Do you have one?
I liked Poison. Def Leppard I think we've seen Def Leppard. I mean, I'm aging myself, but I think we've seen them 3 or 4 times.
I know.
And we were going to see them another time too, and I think they got canceled last year.
Yeah, I was that my kids got me. I know people are here for your sobriety story, but the kids got me and they canceled because of COVID this year, but it was Joan Jett, Poison, Def Leppard, and Motley Crue. None of those I'd seen. So that was going to be, but they canceled again, which I kind of feel like, guys, you need to you're getting one of these years you can't do this anymore, so we need to get this done. But that was going to be fun. So well, I am so glad you joined us. You are a TLCer, correct? Which is the Luckiest Club, which is sobriety support that where I kind of got. I was an AA background, but TLC, fantastic group that's just been. They really kind of. AA gave me a lot of great structure, but TLC, I didn't realize how important community was for my recovery, and that was the spot that I found it. In fact, we have Saturday morning, Brooke is going to be on, who hosts a couple of the shows. So I think she's looking forward to, hopefully she can talk for once, because she's got to shut up and listen to all of us, and maybe now she can say something. So that ought to be fun. But I don't know, Shannon, your background. What did you do that got you what did you do at a concert in front of the guys of Weezer that got you in a sobriety support meeting?
Well, I probably didn't do much at concerts. I was pretty well behaved. Actually, the majority of my wink, wink.
Yeah.
No, I would say the majority. I always had a difficult relationship with alcohol. It was never. I mean, I never had an off switch. But it didn't really start getting bad until my late 30s, early 40s. And my whole 40s decade was pretty messy. So,
Do you know what changed? What caused it to take the turn?
yeah. And I was actually listening to one of your sessions or whatever, and you were talking about, what were you talking about?
Having purpose.
Having a purpose. And boy, did that resonate, because I would say I have 4 kids, and when the fourth was a surprise. So I was pretty, for 5 years till he turned 5, I was pretty just because I wanted to get back to work, and I wanted to, yeah, I was stayed at home. And I would say when the kids were able to all stay home and the oldest could watch the youngest, I went off the rails. I had freedom for the first time in a long time. And we had moved to a new city, a new house, and I met friends, and they drank and they had parties, and they lived close so we could walk to each other's homes, and it was fun. And first time that I actually really had friendships, that I could hang out, and it was fun, and it was a good time. But yeah, I think just having that freedom for the first time in a long time really kind of set the.
Was it a good freedom or a negative? Because for
No,
me,
it was good. I mean, I think at the time it was good. I think I probably could have reined it in a whole lot. But it was almost like, and not that being a parent is being like being in prison, but you just kind of, you go through the day-to-day stuff, and for the first time in a long time, I was having fun, and I was able to get out of the house, so in that regard, yeah.
see, I think for me, because Elizabeth, even when we're raising the kids, I was very involved. I coached everything, I was always throwing the ball, kicking a ball, whatever it was outside with them. But by about 8 o'clock, that's when I was out in the garage, and she took over as she became an only parent.
Yeah.
A single parent at that time. She put him to bed. She dealt with this, all of the evening stuff, and I checked out in the garage. So when they and this kind of goes back with our purpose thing that we were talking about, when the kids got old enough and didn't need a coach, or they needed coaches that actually knew what they were doing, and kind of grew up and didn't need me as much.
Right.
That's when I had well, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And so I started checking out earlier because I didn't have to go coach at practices. And I think that's when, I mean, I was a heavy drinker, don't get me wrong, but I became a negative drinker, much more of a negative drinker when that happened. So that's why I was wondering if that was a good or bad, but you were having fun.
I was having fun at the time, and I'm also a runner. And so fitness has always been super important to me. And I think what happened is, I coached running I actually owned a running business, and I got my personal training certificate. So I was coaching women how to run for years, and alcohol was always like the end, after your run, we got rewarded with going to the bar, and we, stuff like that. And so that took precedence. But I would say around 2015, that was when, I don't know, when I started comparing my drinking to other people's, and I'm like, wow, I think I have a problem. So that was when, so then I would take these little 30-day stints off, and oh my God, that was hard, and I'm like, oh man. But what I found is when I went back, because God, and then you realize, boy, I'm feeling so much better, but I still went back because I had that goal. I had reached that 30 days, but I went back so much harder. And it started after doing it like 2 or 3 times. I was so scared. I'm like, I can't possibly go back harder because I'm going to kill myself,
Was it just the volume, or was it what your actions or how you felt?
Well, I started blacking out, and yeah, it was definitely the volume, and what I would drink to sleep pretty much. That was my main. I used to say, because I mean, there were times and I know so many people say it, and I'm sure people roll their eyes, but I was so functional. And, I don't even remember having a hangover ever. So in that regard, I would drink 2 bottles of wine and get up the next morning and run 10 miles, so I never called in sick for work. It's so much harder to quit when you're functional, I think, than when you have, obviously, when you have, consequences, right? Because I had no consequences, but I would be talking to the kids at night, and I was blacking out and not realizing it. And then the next morning, I'd ask them questions, and they're like, "Mom, we talked about that all last night." And I mean, after
It's
about,
awful.
oh my God, the shame, the embarrassment. So what happened is I stopped asking them questions, which means I ultimately stopped communicating with my children. And, that's not good. You just set up, there's no communication. Same with my husband. I mean, I'd fall asleep, during sex. I mean, I hope I can say that, but I mean, just embarrassing things
Hold on,
that are just awful.
that's the FCC calling. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I swear like a sailor, and I have no filters.
You're safe here. You can no
And I'm
problem.
very Irish too, so I'm like,
no,
yeah.
you're good. We have no problems on this.
All right.
The kids, that's brutal.
Mhm.
Did they say anything to you, or were they aware that why you didn't remember, or did you pull it
Oh,
off?
yeah.
Were you as good of a, okay.
Oh, they were aware, and that's what made it even worse. And it was so embarrassing. And I think part of it is because when you black out, you're so cognizant. You don't act like I mean, clearly I'm having a conversation with them and not, but the next day I had no recollection. So I think when that started happening, that was really scary to me. And I was just like, oh my God, how am I gonna? So, I wanted sobriety so bad, but I didn't. And I used to just pray. I'm like, just give me some kind of consequence or some kind of rock bottom, and my grandfather was an alcoholic, and I just prayed to him, be like, can you just help me, send me something, and the last night, I mean, it wasn't even, to most people, like, I've gone to AA meetings and my story is very minor. My rock bottom is minor compared to a lot, but it was enough to get me to quit. And that's what matters, and it'll be 26 months alcohol free tomorrow. So
Did the kids just give you looks, or did they actually come to you and say anything? We're going to do a show about that, because those, how do you make amends to what you did to the kids?
Yeah, that's hard. They didn't say anything. They just, I could just see their faces. And like one Christmas, I mean, Christmas Eve was just a shit show as far as getting drunk. And then I'd have to, oh my God, we have to do their stocking. So I think one Christmas I mismatched all their stockings, and they're opening up and they're just like, oh my God, Mom. And then, they'd be like, well, there she was drinking. And that just mortified me. So all these little shame, you just, I don't know, after a while, and I think after a while you just kind of keep numbing it because you're like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing, but I'm not ready to quit yet either. So yeah, I wouldn't wish my worst neighbor to have to deal with this, because it's awful. It's really such an awful thing to endure.
Was anyone else? Did you hear it from other people or friends, or
No. I mean, nobody said,
mostly
hey,
just the person in the mirror?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, I think you hang around with people who drink like you do, right? So, or at least I did, so I mean, that kind of supported my, I'm like, well, my friends are drinking like this, but they also weren't coming home and finishing off of, well, I don't know what they were doing. I guess I don't know. But I mean, I was coming home and drinking. I was still drinking as I came in the door, at home. There were nights I'd get home at 10 at night and I'd drink till midnight. And then, you'd have the 3 a.m., which, oh my God. I mean, 3 a.m. wake up time with the heart palpitations and all the anxiety and the shame, and you're like, oh my God, I'm never doing that again, and then there were times I think what happened the last year, I would actually go downstairs and because I'd be awake at 3 and I'd take some more shots of whiskey or whatever I could find downstairs to get back to sleep. But what's happening is no amount was making me sleepy. And I'm like, oh my, that was scary too. Cause I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even get, pass out from this anymore. So yeah, it was just such a brutal time.
The the sleep thing always interests me because you hear people saying that they sleep better, but when they quit drinking, they sleep better. That's how I slept. I don't think I even knew how to fall asleep.
No.
I knew how to pass out. I think
right.
The first night I kind of laid in bed thinking, what the hell how do you fall asleep?
Yeah. That was my biggest worry about giving up drinking, because I would pass out, but then you'd wake up. So you'd be awake from 3 to 5, and then you're still a zombie the next morning, because you're just, you didn't get a good night. You didn't get a full good night of sleep. But yeah, when I got sober, I think it took me, I want to say over a month to be able to actually fall asleep on my own, without taking melatonin or anything to help.
It's interesting because you're one of those, you fit into that category. I found that with TLC is that when I saw someone like you, my first couple meetings, I thought, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong room. I'm looking for the drunks, because you like so many of them on, look like, I can hear you coming on saying, oh, Jeff, and I had 2 glasses of wine the other night and I knew, oh my gosh, I've got to stop. And it's like, hey, I had a case and a half of beer. Yeah. You're one, you just don't see it. And I think, so you don't know when, and when you quit, did people, because you hit it so well, did they wonder why in the world would you be quitting?
I don't think so. And I think primarily because I talked about booze all the time. I look at my Facebook memories and it's so embarrassing because I talked about alcohol. Oh my God, if I didn't have a meme, it was a quote, it was something, and I'm like, my God, I was obsessed with it. And so nobody, and I do kind of wonder, I don't think I've had one person say, well, I did have one, but she didn't know me very well. And she's like, oh, I'm just shocked. But nobody else was surprised. Nobody else came up and was just floored,
Did anyone say, I kind of figured that was coming? Or
neither, nothing.
Just nothing.
Just no.
What a bunch of boring friends you must have.
Neutral.
They're not near as judgmental as mine.
I know. It was almost too neutral. Like you kind of want some feedback. Even my husband, I'm like, was I as bad as and he's like, well, we had really bad times and we had really, you were okay. Yeah. And, so yeah. And I
told my friends I was quitting and I had a problem. They said, you think? Really? That's a shocker.
Yeah.
But,
so, yeah.
Well, when I guess what was the night that you said, was there anything or it just the roll of the dice that I'm done?
Okay, so I'm very into fitness and I tore my meniscus a couple of years ago. And that's actually, so I did drink for the pain. I was drinking for the pain. I was drinking, I think, because running was always my
outlet
and
purpose,
my identity. Seriously, that was my identity, running and drinking. And so I tore my meniscus, and I think the alcohol obviously didn't help with the inflammation. I was so inflamed. So the last year I was walking, but I was gaining so much weight because, well, for one thing, I was drinking more than ever. And then I wasn't running, I was walking because I was in too much pain to, really run. What am I going with this, Joe?
Well, the
my ADD brain.
No, what kicked it? What made you say?
So Yeah. So anyway, oh, that's what. So I signed up for this. I was one of my friends, she lost her 3-year-old childhood cancer. So she does this ultimate hike every year, and so I've done 2 marathons, and then I was training for this ultimate hike, but I was in the worst shape of my in a long time. I was overweight. I was, my body was hurting, but I was committed to keeping alcohol in the picture. And then we went out one night, and my husband was out of town, and I went out with some friends, and I was actually doing okay. And then the bartender had made too many drinks. So they brought them to our table and they just put them in front of us. And that just let the floodgates. I mean, I was buying shots for everybody. I was so messed up that night. And I woke up the next morning in my typical cheery self. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, when you wake up and you're like, oh, what happened last night? And then all of a sudden the wheels start, and I went in the bathroom and there was puke everywhere. And I must have cut myself. There was blood. And I'm like, Shannon, you cannot keep this going, and my husband had just texted me. He was on his way home from the airport. And I'm like, nope. So I cleaned it all up. I threw all the booze out. It was garbage day that day. So I knew it was going to be actually gone. And I just said, this is day one. I was done. And then the kicker is we had a trip to Italy planned a month later. So all of a sudden, when you're in that moment and you're like, oh, I'm quitting. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, the 4th of July is coming up. And we have this trip planned and I'm like, you know what? I'm committed. And I got through it. I mean, we went to Europe and I did it sober. And was it hard? It had its moments. There was a time when the maitre d', we were waiting for a restaurant and he was trying to appease us. And he gave us a bottle of champagne, and I'm like, oh my God. So the kids got it. Model parent here, but I'm like, I can't drink it. I'm like, you guys will have to just share it. So yeah, but
did you did you tell your husband that night I'm done? Or I didn't crack up about the garbage man because I just want to interview those guys and say,
I know, don't you wonder?
Hey, 227 Maple just quit drinking. I found there's 12 cases of beer and a bunch of bottles of booze if you guys want them.
Right.
You can tell who's throwing out all their stuff.
Yeah. I'm always curious. Are they looking at that?
Oh God, I used to dump my empties in my neighbor's recycling bin and then just leave a few, and then so because they would be out on the street, people walking by, and he would have a big mound and I would have 4 in mine, and I just kind of
that's awesome.
But it was like, the running, all I hear is justification. Mm-hmm. It's okay to drink because I ran 6 miles today.
Oh, it was my reward. I mean, I was thinking about that the whole run is, I get to go home but I got all my work done. I mean, I was very work oriented, I'm still very goal oriented. So I would get like the house projects done. I'd get the cleaning done. I'd get my workout done. And then I'd drink. So, I mean, there were nights I didn't sit down till 9, 10 at night. And had I just gone to bed, that would have been a different story. But no, that was my reward at the end of the day.
Yeah, that it was, but I could use anything. I mowed the lawn. The yard looks great. Yeah. It's it just gave me a much less guilt about doing that. Right. But towards the end of my career, it's tough to mow the lawn in the dark first thing in the morning. Right. You can't get that reward.
Yeah.
So things were spiraling on that. So when you stopped, you weren't. I know you said you dabbled with a couple programs. How did you do it? Was it just a white knuckling situation?
I wasn't even white knuckling it because I was so ready. And I think I was just I wanted it, but I wasn't ready. And that day I was ready. I wanted it and I was ready. And I think when you have those 2 combinations, you're pretty much golden then. So I pretty much knew. And, I never told myself forever. And I never told, because I didn't want to, I just said, I have to change my relationship with alcohol. And so I never had like a goal set, like, okay, I'm going to try this for 90 days. I just kind of did it. And, I called, well, I started blogging 4 days into it and I put it out. So I burned the ships 4 days into it. I posted my blog on Facebook and I got like 300 comments. It was insane. So much support. And then I had people messaging me saying, hey, I've been sober. This, people I had no idea didn't drink. And I'm like, oh my God, so I'm not alone here. And yeah, so then I had one friend, we had been Facebook friends for a while, but we never really knew each other that well. And she messaged me. So I asked her if she'd take me to my first AA meeting. And, and it was fine. I tried AA for 6 months and I'm glad I tried it. But ultimately, it was not, I think we are getting sober in such a good time right now. There are so many outlets and different recovery options. So if AA doesn't work for you, you can try it. Like TLC. I mean, when I read Laura's book, oh my God. I mean, that was like a life changer. That just it was like my story pretty much, to a great degree. And then I found her group on Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, this is golden, to have. And it's just so I love that aspect. And I just love that there are different routes to take, and Facebook groups and Marco Polos and different I don't know if you're familiar with that app, but it's just been wonderful being able to connect with people.
How important is connection for you?
Oh my God, I'd be lost. I mean, the only thing I can say though, and a friend of mine said this the other day too, she's newly sober and sometimes sometimes I wonder if I think about alcohol as much as I do because if I wasn't in all these groups, because, it does kind of bring you, like if I wasn't in any of these groups, I probably wouldn't think about alcohol at all, to be honest. I mean, I'm at that point, but you're there to support other people and hear their stories. And sometimes that helps keep you sober too, is hearing, especially the ones that, well, I was 200 days sober and I thought I'd try it, and here I'm back, back wanting sobriety again. So yeah.
I was, and I need to put it on the Facebook on the pages, but Laura, who heads up the TLC, she had I don't know if it was her quote or one that she had put up, but it was talking about moderation. How, moderation, if you're scheduling when you can drink, there's probably, and the way the quote was just fantastic. I saw that this morning and I thought I got to put that on because I get busted plagiarizing every time I do. I've got a whole crowd that just loves to catch me in plagiarism. Yeah. So
you're on the internet. Yeah.
Well, this is my so-called friends on the show that just love to point it out and bring me down in flames. But no, it was the moderation thing. I tried everything and finally I ran out of options.
Yeah.
And it was for me, I did the rehab thing for a week because I needed help to break the cycle. Mm-hmm. Plus I was such a I just didn't trust myself. I don't think, and that's the important, the connections, because I think if I was in a cabin in Minnesota by myself, because I know you are 38 miles from your nearest neighbor, but that would be tough for me. Having accountability is critical for me.
It is critical. Yeah.
All forms of insurance. You mentioned the goal, and I don't know if you're a day counter or if you were, but a goal never worked for me because it always meant when that goal is reached, it's party time, whether it was a weight loss or anything.
And that's why I on purpose this time didn't say it. I'm like, I'm not gonna say any number, any set days. I have a bunch of little sober trackers, but I mean, I couldn't tell you today how many days I was. I know tomorrow just because the 27th is the day,
right.
but yeah, I know I'm gonna be 800 days in like 10 days, I think, or is coming up. So, like I know kind of big milestones, but yeah, and it does help. I have a friend of mine and I like her idea. She has a marble jar, and she has one for drinks and one for sober, how many days she's sober. And that's like I think that's a really cool idea because you can physically see, okay, I had 5 drinks this year, and the rest of the time I've been sober, and that's a great way to visualize it, I think. So I think whatever works for you is, as long as it keeps you from drinking, that's awesome.
I don't want to support anyone with relapse. I don't want to encourage anyone because I think that's a real dangerous thing.
Hmm.
But if your goal was to run, if you told me, hey Jeff, I ran 362 days out of last year, I only didn't run 3 times.
Yeah.
I skipped running 3. I'd say, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
That's awesome. Right.
That's beyond fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you to say that, well, I drank 3 days last year, oh, well, then you're not one of us.
Well, that's just it. And we are such black and white people. I mean, I don't know if, I think we're getting a little bit better, but yeah, I'm like, people are so hard on themselves. And when you're in these groups and you hear somebody, I mean, if I was able to go out tomorrow and say, have a drink, and then I'd go right back to sobriety, oh my God, I'd be thrilled with that, but I don't trust myself, and I don't know if for me, I just see a complete going right back to where I was. And I don't want to risk that,
I know Minnesota's like the Antarctic, where there's the daytime, you only get 2 hours of light, but you probably need to turn a light on because you're getting darker and darker as we're going. So,
all right, is that too bright now?
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa, got the aura.
The Lord has Judgment Day is here, and Jeff, you want to tell the truth now? Any difficulties, because you come across as that this was a pretty easy run for you, the way you're sounding. Did you have struggles, and how did you deal with them?
Not it like I said, I think it just culminated so well because I have wanted it I would pray, like I would be out driving and I'd just be like, just please, something help me here, and so I think the fact that it all just came together so well and I was ready, and I was 48 when I got sober, and part of it was just to prove that I could do it. And I wanted to make my 50s better. Well, I mean, not that my 40s were fine, I mean, it wasn't all horrible and it wasn't all shit shows. And, I mean, there was plenty of good times with it too. But I think, I'm getting older, and just, I don't know, the realization that it's good to get healthy and it's good to take care of your health. And I'm a home health aide, so I see how many, what happens when you age, and I'm like, I want to be as healthy as I can. So it's been more, I think if you change your mindset to make it more of a lifestyle and like a wellness journey, and not to look at it like such a deprivation, that has really helped me a lot.
Yeah, you epitomize what I try to do, but I have to be sober, and I'm trying, and it's becoming, I get to be sober.
Yeah.
But
it's a choice. I think when I made it a choice and not, because in the beginning I'd say, oh, I can't drink. And I'm like, and that just, I don't do well with that kind of talk, and I don't do well with deprivation. So I had to really change the focus to, I don't want to drink. And I can pick up anytime I want. I can go to the liquor store and I can get something. And I mean, not that, don't get me wrong. I mean, there have been times I've gone to the liquor store and because I buy a lot of NA drinks, and actually the NA drinks are phenomenal. They have really come around. I wish the bars would come around as much as the liquor stores have. The craft beers, NA beers, is so awesome. And I'm in a bunch of NA groups on Facebook, and it's, I mean, like drinks, you know,
Mhm.
and it's great. It's just, it's nice to see that more people are getting health conscious too.
I am so supportive of NA drinks, but I won't drink. I won't do them.
Yeah.
Now, let me just clarify. I won't do NA beer because that's all I drank was beer.
That was your drink.
I mean, occasional margarita or something, but
Yeah.
I was, but I won't do it because I'm scared of it.
I can see that.
The joy that I would get from drinking a non-alcoholic beverage is so small compared to the risk, because I know that I used to get a buzz before the beer even entered my system.
Oh, opening up the bottle.
Right.
Opening up
I
the bottle.
felt it.
Yes.
And so if it's that mental, if it's not just a physical, because it hasn't gone into my blood yet.
Right.
If that's the case, I'm afraid that I would get a buzz off of an NA beer, and that would trigger.
Yeah.
I needed, you know, I just, and the other thing is I would drink 30 NA beers a day, and it's just, I can't do it. It's just not worth it. I'm not sitting here craving an NA beer. So why even roll the dice?
Right. And I even find I buy them and they sit on the fridge. I mean, if they were, so my drink of choice was wine and tequila and whiskey. So an NA beer, like beer, I was not overwhelmingly a fan. So I think that's why I can drink it now and enjoy it. But if I buy like NA wine, I do find myself searching, you know, kind of searching for that feeling like, okay,
Yeah.
where is it? You know, so yeah.
I have to, like at a concert, you know, if I was like a headbanging wild, you know, partier like you, going to these, you know, and entering a mosh pit, I would have to, your husband sent me some pictures, so
I'm sure.
But I have to have something in my hand. I've got to have my Diet Pepsi or whatever, that knocks it down. Then I don't, you know, if I have something, I'm not looking to have something. It's already there. So I have to be pre-active on that. I've got to get it into my, you know, mitts ahead of time, and then I get through it. But it's also, you know, with the NA beer, I can sit there. Hey, Jeff, you just got done mowing the lawn? Wouldn't a cold NA beer? Yeah, it would. Next. So it's very short. It's like, yeah, it would, but I can't. So I let it go. So it's not, and that's probably the greatest news I've got is that, you know, I'm just about a year and a half of sobriety. And the thoughts, it's not cravings, but it's just moments of, wow, I'm doing this or that. I should be drinking a beer right now. But they're fewer, and they are very, very brief.
Yeah.
So I'm loving the fact that I can let it go. You know, I can acknowledge it, say, well, too bad, ain't gonna happen. Next.
Yeah.
And I can move on.
The NA stuff, it helped me like the first year, like we had a couple weddings and then, you know, the holidays. So it really did help in that regard to make yourself feel.
Yeah.
And we were at a wedding and I had a NA bottle of beer in my hand, and I was telling some guy I was sober, and he's like, well, you're drinking a beer. And I'm like, oh, I guess, you know, and that made me feel a little bit better. Like, oh, it does look like a real beer, you know? So nobody questioned me or said anything. And
I think it's fantastic. It's
no, it's not for everybody at all. And I say, if you're not, and honestly, like I said, it's the marketing. It's the marketing. And that's what actually, I'm realizing the marketing is what got me to buy so many like drinks in the first place. And now they're marketing so well with the NA craft beer stuff. So I buy it, but then, like I said, it just, you know, I'll have one or two, and then it sits on the fridge for, you know, 6 months. And it's not like I drink them on a daily, you know.
So your kids, you already gave your age, so I'm not gonna, but are they drinking now? Have you talked to them about, do they know mom's situation?
Yeah, I'm so open. And part of it, you know, I put it on, and you had asked prior if I told my husband the night. No, I said things are going to change. I put it out on Facebook without actually saying anything to him. So he kind of found out with everybody else that I was giving up drinking. And I don't know why it's easier to tell the world than to tell people that you're intimately involved with, but for me, it is. Um, yeah, the kids, I have a 24-year-old. He doesn't,
I'm
he doesn't,
sorry. The fact
no,
you said that you're intimately involved with, and then just moments ago you said that you fell asleep during
yeah.
you know what, and I think that's pretty
Well, you
damn.
had to remind
That's a
that. Yeah, I,
what
I
a
was hoping that would
magical
just get like,
magic.
I was hoping that would get like kind of
Nothing
burned somewhere.
strokes a man's ego more than
Yeah.
to have
Oh,
his
I'm sure he was just loving me. Yeah.
snoring.
And
Anyways,
and snoring because of all the booze. Oh
right?
my,
Yeah.
I'm sure I was just a ray of sunshine. But
I'm sorry. I just that I had a vision. I started cracking up. I'm
all
sorry.
good. But no, my 24-year-old, he doesn't drink at all. And my daughter will be 23. She does. And I have a almost 20-year-old in college. He does, but it was funny because the other day he's starting to, he just got a personal trainer, and he's like, he was sober cab one night for his friends, and he goes, Mom, do you know how many calories are in alcohol? And I'm like, I do. But the
Yeah.
fact that I'm like, oh my God, I mean, they're actually thinking about this. Like, I
Mhm.
never would have cared about that in college, calories. And then I have a 15-year-old, and he's not too interested yet.
Well, I don't care for me. It doesn't matter what calorie count is when you multiply it times 37.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't, a lot is now just
Yeah.
even a whole lot more. So, the kid thing, like I said, we're going to address that. But it's tough because it's very easy to demonize alcohol.
Mhm.
But for a lot, and say it's such a evil, blah, blah, blah. But for some people, it's not. It's not for my wife.
No.
It's
No, my husband either. He's a completely normal drinker.
yeah. And it's like, what? There's nothing negative when she works her tail off all week and weekend goes out and wants to have a beer to relax, and she'll have one, maybe two, and then she's good. For the most part, what's wrong with that? We get a massage to make ourselves feel good. We put on slippers to make ourselves feel good.
Yeah.
What's wrong with having a beer to make yourself feel good? I mean,
No. And
to them,
it's all balance, right? And that's what I'm like, I know when people are like, well, it's ethanol and it's poison. And I'm like, yeah, but not everybody drinks the amount that
yeah.
we were drinking, right? I mean, the amount I was drinking, it was definitely poison for my body, but I mean, if I could get by with one or two a week, sure, that's awesome. But I don't have that personality, and I don't think I ever could go back and drink like a normal drinker.
What were the biggest positive surprises you got from sobriety?
Well, sober hair is pretty awesome. Sober skin, I
Wait,
feel.
back up. What the hell, sober hair?
Oh my
I'll
God.
take any kind of hair.
Let
but
me tell you, this hair never grew, and since I got sober, it grows like it's insane, and it's so healthy. I feel really good.
So you're calling me a liar. You're saying that I didn't
Well,
stop drinking
I don't know.
because nothing's happening up there.
I don't know. Maybe you need to start massaging it or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, and the freedom of not thinking about it at all. I mean, that is because it used to consume. You'd wake up in the morning and you'd feel, I never really got hangovers, but I think the fog. I'm sure that was a hangover. I'm finding things out now. And then you'd go to work and you'd be like, oh my God, can people tell that I was drinking? Do my eyes were so watery, so I was focused on that. And then as the day progressed, by 2 in the afternoon, you're starting to feel better. And then you're like, oh, I feel good. And then you start the whole cycle all over again. So it was like alcohol consumed every thought every day.
That's what I
I
was
don't
going to
miss
ask you
that.
because it's, people, I only drink at night. I understand that, but even though you're only drinking at night, how much of your day was centered around drinking?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was every every action I had, my schedule,
yeah.
my planning, my routes home, do I have spare change in the ashtray to buy beer for the drop?
Yeah.
Everything about my whole day. What time do I get to start?
Well, and that's what I don't remember when I started drinking nightly. Because I was there was a time when, I mean, I could go weeks without it. And then I'd always have one really bad night. So then it started being like a weekend thing. And then I'm like, I wish you could go back and just remember, kind of place when you started, when did this start becoming a nightly thing, and when did it become finishing a bottle, and then become finishing more than a bottle, and yeah, it is really. And I remember I would be on these sober groups like in 2015, and they didn't have nearly what they have now for options to get sober and stuff, but I remember being in these groups and people are like, it's progressive. And I would just get so annoyed with that. They're like, and I'd be like, well, I don't have a DWI. And they're like, yeah. And I'd just be so annoyed, like, no, and I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear that it was progressive, but it sure as hell is. It's so progressive. And that's what I think. If I didn't quit when I did, I don't know if I'd be here today, to be honest. So
Yeah, I guarantee that's the case with me.
mhm.
Things would be, if I was here, things would be a lot different.
Yeah.
I was a day away from destroying it all. And it just picked up. It was it was the flushing of the toilet. It starts off slowly, and I was getting down to that bottom part where it was whipping around and it was about to be out of sight.
Yeah.
And past the point of return. The one thing I'm taking from all this, though, is you when you were running the exercise, you were drinking a lot because of that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's
It was
safe
my
to say,
reward. I mean, I finished a marathon. I did Grandma's Marathon in Duluth here, and then we drove home. And the first thing I did was grab a bottle of wine and open it. That was my reward. Not water, not like Gatorade. Nope, we're gonna start with the alcohol. So yeah, it was my
I think
reward for everything.
next time Elizabeth says, do you want to go for a walk? I'm going to say, sweetie, I don't want to start drinking again. And Shannon,
Yeah,
I'm protecting my sobriety. Shannon said exercise is bad. It's when you exercise is when you start drinking heavily.
No,
So
no
I'm
excuses.
gonna get a shirt that says that. Just I'll just hand one of those cards.
I better get some profit from this.
Shannon says, yeah, I did years ago in the 90s. I ran a lot. Just 10Ks was the most I ever did. But those races, it was the first you finish. It wasn't even water. It was the first thing was a banana and a beer.
And a beer, yeah. I know.
It was the first
and
thing.
I loved it at the time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I loved it, but yeah. Now looking back, I'm like, well, that's probably not the best thing to give somebody after running, 26 miles, but
yeah. So did you deal with the mental side of it, any anxiety stuff? I know you said you slept, you had poor sleep habits. Did you feel that, did you have, because that was my big thing, was anxiety was a crusher for me. Did any of that pop into you? Or
no, I don't have a lot of anxiety in general. I think it made me realize that, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was a numbing agent to get through social events and stuff. What it did primarily was it helped me get through events that I really didn't want to do in the first place, I realized. So, you just kind of so then you realize, hey, I really don't enjoy this. So I'm not going to go, if I need alcohol for it, I'm not going to go. If I really don't enjoy it, why even be here, right?
do you have any routines right now that are your keys? I'm doing a class for sober curious yoga for a weekend thing at Labor Day weekend, and one of the topics is going to be getting yourself ready to say no when the cravings hit. And for me, the days that I don't exercise, the days that I don't work hard, the days that I don't shower, which, or wear fresh clothes or whatever, when I don't take care of myself, so easy to just say, well, I got nothing, my day's crap. What does it matter?
Yeah.
It was when I do the right things, I feel like I've got a tangible, I've got a whole lot of good that I earned through the day, and I don't want to throw that away. So my point is I'm a lot less likely to fall to cravings when I've done taking care of myself through the day. Do you have any
Yes.
of the routines that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I exercise every day. I recently started the 75 hard. Are you familiar with that?
What is it called?
75 hard. So it's this guy created this
Oh,
program.
yeah, I
So
broke out into a rash when someone told me about this,
oh
and I
my God.
started sweating, and I said,
So I'm
stop.
on day 26 of it, but it's two 45-minute workouts. You have to drink a gallon of water a day, take a picture of yourself, read 10 pages of a book, and you get to pick your own diet. So I'm doing intuitive eating, but this has really been good for me. I tell you, it's yeah, it's kind of like, because I'm so goal oriented and because I enjoy all the aspects of it, it's really been good. I and I'm almost like, because I'm on day 26 and I'm like, what am I going to do when it ends? But the 2 workouts a day, it's starting to get hard.
I was going to do a program just like that, and someone told me that exercise leads to drinking, and so I'm not sure who that
Oh,
was, but so
well, who would that be?
that I don't know. It was,
God,
but I trusted that person.
I highly suggest you don't listen to that person.
How much are you helping others? How much community are you getting? People, are you passing the word on, doing the
Oh
service?
yeah.
They always say in AA it's doing the service work, but helping others is that's what makes it work for me. Are
Yeah.
you involved with that? Are you getting asked to?
Yeah, so I was in I don't know if you're familiar with Cafe RE. It's Recovery Elevator is a podcast, and then Paul Churchill is he was the podcaster, and then he's got this private unsearchable group on Facebook. So I was part of that, and he enlisted some of us if we had a certain amount of sobriety to be like a team lead. So I did that. I'm very open with my sobriety, and the only worry that I have is that people think I'm looking for accolades, and I don't, what I want to do is, because I think had I seen somebody on Facebook put it out there so much, I would have been like, oh my God, but I never did. I never saw somebody put their story out there. Because I truly think when you see somebody that looks like you, a mom, I'm not fall down, I'm not a hot mess. I think when you see somebody that kind of has a similar story to you, that it's easier to be like, oh my God, she could do this, I can do this.
Well, that was when I saw, I thought I was the only complete loser on the planet that was drinking like I was drinking, because I
Yeah.
didn't see it of my friends. But of course, they didn't see it in me because I hid it so well.
Well, that's just it. And you're not going home with them at night. So you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. None of us do,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
It's yeah, I'm not in this for the accolades at all. I don't feel I don't feel I'm doing anything special by being sober. I think I'm just no longer doing anything really bad. I think I'm just being normal. I'm not doing anything above and beyond.
No,
But
but I think by talking about it is good. It's so good. And sobriety has really become more mainstream now, thank God.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know, you don't feel like the elephant in the room anymore. I mean, sometimes I guess I do, but for the most part, not really. It's more.
And that's why I asked about the kids, because I was brought up, alcohol was the forbidden fruit. And my parents, fantastic. My dad's still around, love him to death. Great. I mean, nothing but love. I was luckiest kid in the world, but it was the forbidden fruit. So when I got to college and I was free of mom and dad, I wanted to open a keg and pick the whole thing up. Elizabeth, my wife, she was raised where, well, whatever. And when I met her, I was like, do you want to go out at college? You want to go out drinking? She said, well, maybe later. I've got so-and-so to do. And it's like, what do you mean later? We're free.
Yeah.
And she's like, it was not the forbidden. And I want to do that with my kids of just, I don't want to hide it from them. I don't want to make it, I don't want to demonize it, but I talk to them all the time and I don't preach to them. I just kind of tell them what dad was like. And I make it light. I do make fun of myself. And the only reason I laugh about situations is because I've fixed those situations or I've reversed those.
Well, we have to have a sense of humor because my God, I mean, I laugh too, but at the time it wasn't funny.
No,
right?
no, if I was still doing them, if I was still doing those things, they wouldn't be funny.
Right. But now you can look back and be like, okay, I'm better now. But I mean, there were, like I said, there were some good times. It wasn't all just this awful, messy, Yeah.
I just want my kids to know that if it's a problem, they can come to me and hopefully they see dad happy, smiling, and sober and realize life goes on.
Yeah.
This isn't the end of the world. If we got to deal with it, we got to deal with it. You got to, we adapt.
We're a pretty free family here. I mean, I will say when I was drinking, I let the kids drink a lot more because I was probably so, I was just I was more loose with, but we still, I know my almost 20-year-old, I'm sure he's drinking at college, I'm not in denial that that's not the case, but yeah, I mean, they know my story. So, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, just watch out. I'm like, you have it in your family, so just
what ticks me off is the fact that I drank with the kids. Sometimes I use them as justification.
Yeah.
And that ticks me off. Those are some of the things that, and we were talking, just because we're going to get into that with dealing with our kids and how we make it up to them for what we did and some of the stuff people are struggling with that. But I was talking with Peggy Cooney, who, if you know her from TLC and this side of alcohol, but she made a good point that words, my kids didn't want to hear words. They didn't want to hear, I'm sorry. They was like anything that came out of this thing meant, it's like, whatever, we've heard it before. And you show us. So
exactly.
it was, my amends are living amends. Apologies means nothing.
See, and I'm not, this is probably going to sound awful. I'm not an apologizer. I mean, I will apologize, but I mean, I was a different person back then, and I'm better now. So I figured by doing better, they can see better. And I don't feel like we need to just grovel either. I mean, we can say we're sorry, we can apologize, but then let it be done, right? And just show the kids that we're better people now, and we're going to be there for them. But
well, I want them to see that, again, you can have fun without drinking. You can still be funny, or at least I try. They say I'm a dork, but I at least try to be funny with them. You can still go out and have a good time and do certain things. And they also, I think they like that I'm not criticizing them for drinking. I'm saying, we even make jokes about it. And if they're drinking more than one or two, I'll make hey, I got you a seat saved, or, here's the book. And I got the good
I bet they love that.
Yeah. You don't need to highlight anything. I've done all the highlighting for you. So you don't have to buy, markers. I got the notes in there for you. You can just pick it up and go. But it's turning it into a positive thing. And that's one thing I had, sobriety was a red light. I have to stop drinking. And what I'm trying to do with myself and with others is, no, sobriety can be a green light. It's like you can now start living free of this crap
Yep.
that just ruled every moment of my day and stole from me and exhausted me and robbed me and cheated me, everything.
Yeah.
I now have the green light. I'm friendly. I dumped the chains that out of alcoholism. And that's the message. And I'm freaking thrilled about that. Can't say that 5 times fast, but I am very happy. And that's why, people say, what's your sobriety date? Well, my freedom date is whatever, because that's what it is.
It is. 100%. The freedom. Oh my God. If I knew how free I was going to feel now. You can't even describe it. It's such a good feeling.
So sobriety is a definition. Freedom is a way of life. And if that makes any, and that's, or a state of being. And that's what I'm just thrilled with. Well, look, you are fantastic. I'm glad you, got some sleep after the all-nighter with the Weezer and the Green Day boys.
And the mosh pit. Oh my
and the
God.
mosh pit. Yeah. I thought, is that a bruise or a tattoo on your arm?
A tattoo.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
No, we can do hard things. So this is actually my 1-year sobriety.
Oh, that's
tattoo.
cool.
So,
That's fantastic. I didn't know if it was a bruise from the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Slamming into.
I still have Chiefs, so that's good.
There you go. Perfect. Well, Shannon, thanks so much.
Thank you,
unbelievable. Jeff. Billy says he approves too. My old man here with me. But
Awesome.
Stay on, and we will see you Saturday morning. Like I said, we have Brooke from TLC, which will be fun, and got some good stuff. We are going to do the panel thing has worked out fantastic, where we got a good list of people that want to be the guests for our Tuesday night panel discussions. Thank you for sending in. I got a full list of names, and we'll start rotating fresh. Yes, I know. I know. My Billy, my boxer. Yeah, he's a good boy. But so we'll start rotating names in for the panel. And thanks everyone. If you'd like to be on that, you can email me at info@gettingbacktozero.com, and we'll get you on the list. So Shannon, thanks so much. Stay on there, and we will talk to y'all Saturday morning. Take care, everyone.